Reggae Interviews. Word Sound Power.
This is DJ 745 here with a virtual link to Kingston, Jamaica with Jaz Elise, a singer, songwriter and performing artist. She's just delivered her debut EP project, The Golden Hour. Jaz Elise, welcome to Reggae Interviews.
Greetings, thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
That's good to hear. Now, how are we doing today? How is life at the moment?
You know, it's been a hectic week with prepping for the release of the EP and everything, and I'm just happy that it's here now. So there's a slight release that's happening with just knowing that people can hear it, and it's no longer mine alone that In.Digg to listen to.
For real, for real. I mean, I've got to congratulate you on a couple of things. Firstly, the collaboration being signed to In.Digg.Nation Collective, RCA Records, and for putting out the 7-track debut project, The Golden Hour.
Thank you.
I mean, you know, you've almost sort of described it, but that feeling of almost like a sense of good relief that the EP is now out there for the world to listen to.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's exactly it, to be very honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, I think for myself, I think that debut projects, they always excite me because it's almost like the first book or the first chapter that you're reading into an artist's mindset. How do you feel about the actual debut project?
I feel great. There's obviously little nerves all the time, so you never know how people are gonna react to songs or how they're gonna connect with it, and it's so personal that it's your personal art, your personal feelings, but it's just great that I believe it's all personal music and it all comes from a place of experience, you know. So I just know that people are gonna feel something when they listen to the music and connect with it on a hopefully a personal level when they're even with themselves or with a group of their friends.
Yeah. Well, look, I know that you're the newest and the 4th official member of the In.Digg.Nation family. I do want to go deeper into how the collab with In.Digg.Nation came about. And of course, we want to talk about the EP, The Golden Hour. I'm going to ask all the details about how we got from A to B to C. We're not going to leave anything out at all. But before we go there, we need to understand who Jaz Elise is. Who's the person behind the music? You were born and grew up in Harbourview, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Harbourview, Jamaica.
So Harbourview is almost like the first place that you'll reach when you come out of Norman Manley Airport. You come down the
right,
and then you can turn left or right at the roundabout. So that's where I remember that the name comes from.
Yeah, man. Harbourview is that entire area that you turn, and it's just the community that's there, and it's pretty big, to be honest with you. It's expansive, and I grew up there.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? In 20 years of going backwards and forwards to Kingston, Jamaica, I've never been to Harbourview. So on my next trip in 2022, I need to take a drive out there and see what the community's about.
You should. Friday nights, them have a nice little oyster plus, you know, just food, jerk, you know, all the things them have out their vibes. I don't know if they still keep it because of COVID, but I know they used to have it Friday evenings, and just people in the community buy food and cook food, and it's a nice little experience.
Yeah. Sounds like a nice place to grow up anyway.
Yeah, it is. Jamaica on a whole is a good place to grow up, and there's something very homey about places, even if it's not the best area per se. But like my community now was a mixed community in terms of, you know, a lot of the things that may have happened, but my parents did really shield me from a lot of it growing up. If I'm very honest, I was shielded and sheltered from anything bad that was in my community.
Right, okay. And I understand that your parents are actually very much musically inspired as well. So I'm guessing that the inspiration for you to become a recording artist probably comes from the family within.
Probably, like I have to say that it's probably in my DNA a little bit, because, you know, my dad can play for church and he grew up in church and everything. And my mom, she sings sometimes. She not sing for profession, but if you grow up around people just naturally singing and enjoying music, it feels like the norm. So for me, that was just the norm. Nothing professional about it or nothing serious. It was just, this is what people do for enjoy themselves and connect on an emotional level with things.
Yeah, yeah. And do you know what? One thing that I've kind of really learned over the years is that everybody in Jamaica loves music. Whether it's
Yes,
reggae, whether it's gospel, whether it's country and western, Jamaica is an island full of music lovers.
for sure, for sure. It's in our DNA, and there's a music chromosome that is in Jamaican people for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I guess that, you know, you probably had the musical bug literally from day one, from birth.
You can say that. You can say that. It's just a love for art. A love for art, a love for music.
Yeah, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, yeah. Now I know that we've seen you on your Instagram lives, and you're actually playing a little bit of the guitar as well now, right?
Yeah. For about a year, I started learning a little over a year ago.
Okay, 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 okay.
Year
And
and a half now.
wow, okay, okay. And how's that progressing from your point of view? Is it going well?
Of course, from the fact that you say I'm up on the live, I play guitar. Let me tell you, when I first started, I could not even ping, ping, ping. I don't know what I was doing, but just over time, I kind of, do a little thing and started connecting more with the instruments and just practice. So just the fact that I can be on a live and then even vibe. And that's just me. Ask me that a year and a half ago, and I would be like, no, how could I? Could never.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think that I think it's great how we're all kind of embracing this modern technology, being able to sort of connect with people, showcasing to the world what we're doing, whether it's sort of
Yeah.
music, performing arts, drama, and things. So, you know, credit to you for what you're doing. So, you know, we have to give thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks. Now,
Appreciate that.
this is the first time in my life that I'm actually talking to someone who has a really sort of good music catalogue developing, but you've also got a degree
Thank
in
you.
psychology as well from UE.
I do. I do. I definitely have a love for understanding people and human behavior and just the mental aspect of or being a human and how, as someone who has struggled with issues and just with anxiety, depression, that kind of thing, it always interests me just how what are the facilities and just how do we really take care of ourselves, not when things go bad and you need serious help, but just the day-to-day living, because being a human is hard. Living in society is hard, so just how do we take care of ourselves, something we always used to interest me, and how do we cope as humans. And so that interest did lead me to just do psychology in school.
Yeah, yeah. And I think what you're saying is absolutely right, because, you know, quite often when people are actually in need of some help or support, it's almost where they've almost gone to the point where they need a lot of help or support, whereas
Yeah,
we'll take little steps in our lifestyle on a daily basis to make sure that
yeah.
everything stays balanced and calm so that we don't actually reach that crisis point.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's the thing, and I feel like there's such a stigma on people who have reached a particular level of crisis, even if I haven't. But there's a stigma on a lot of people, and sometimes I think about it, and I'm like, these people just need help, just a little bit of help every day, just a little bit of a routine that keeps them grounded and stable and just happy and able to cope. So that's pretty much why I wanted to do psychology. And along the way, I was always doing music, always just for fun, doing dancing, doing different things here and there, but it was never seriously trying to pursue a career. And then, I might be jumping ahead a little bit, but
No, God, no, it's good.
but yeah, just realizing that for me, music was that safe space. Music was that help. The drive I had to just do better at dancing, do better at music and singing and vocal work and playing guitar. Those things are very healing for me personally. And it was a really tough decision when I had to go tell my people, them boy, say school thing, and when I think this 9 to 5 work is for me, it's just we can't do it. When I feel happy, it don't me. I'm just not that person, and I chose music after that.
Yeah, yeah. How many years did you actually sort of, you know, work the 9 to 5, so to speak, after completing your studies?
I probably did less than a year. I tried it for a little bit and I was miserable. I was so unfulfilled, and I just, me don't believe in just working a 9 to 5 and sitting down around a table for 9 hours a day just for say you can collect your paycheck if you're not helping people.
Right. Okay.
And I feel like a lot of 9 to 5 is just people sitting down, and you waste a lot of time and you don't do a lot of real work. You just sit down because them tell you say you need to do 9 hours or 8 hours a day. And that for me is not something I can do. I'd rather stay up a studio for 10 hours and work and playing guitar and different song and just, having different conversation with other artists and stuff. That is what I prefer to do, because that is work that is going to heal people through sound and connect with people through music.
Yeah. And I mean, in this journey that you've been on musically for just under 2.5 years, I think, how supportive have Mummy and Daddy been?
But them definitely supportive, and it helps when you see like a little more structure around the thing with RCA and In.Digg and everything. But they've always known that I'm the type of person who, when I make up my mind, and I say I'm doing this or I'm doing that, them there's nothing them can tell me for change my mind.
Yeah. I mean, I think, just talking to you and, even hearing some of your music, you seem like a very grounded kind of person. And, but in the background, I think that family values are still very, very important to you.
Absolutely, for sure. And thank you. I give thanks for that, for you saying that.
Yeah. Because, I think that, I've seen and I've spoken to so many people along the years where, maybe music wasn't the actual career that was of approval for the parents and things like that. And you seem to have sort of like gone about it in a really sort of like a clever way, in the sense that, you've sought to seek approval of everyone along the way as well, kind of keeping everyone happy.
Kinda, and it's hard. It's really hard to do that. There's sometimes when I just had to be like, yo, this is what I'm doing. But just work a little bit, man. Just make a little money with the... All right, fine. Work a little bit, do a thing, and then it just come to a head where it's like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
I tried, and I can't do it. I can't do it.
No. Because I think that you end up sort of almost having like a bit of a conflict, in the sense that you can do things to keep or please other people, but they're not yourself, and you've got to reach that balance
Exactly.
as well. Yeah.
No, that's exactly it.
Yeah. Now, I think that we first heard of Jaz Elise as the recording artist probably late in 2018. You did a great song on RCA Records, Love Vibration.
Right. Oh, thank you. Yes.
Big up RCA Records every time. That song was called
For
Forever
sure.
I think this was at a time when, we're seeing more and more female artists rising in on music.
Yeah.
And then I think there was another song that you did for someone that you collabed with, JLL, a great producer.
Right. Yes. Tough producer.
Yeah. How did you make that first transition then, from being a lover and fan of music to actually getting into the studio?
It was honestly just trial and error, asking a producer, yo, you have time? Can we link up? Can we do this? And I did a lot of that, and just trying to see who was interested and who I could learn from, or who I could. I didn't know nothing about singing and recording music. I didn't know nothing about that. And it's just through that asking process is really where, JLL said yes. So from then we just kind of kept working. So it was For You, then it's Fresh and Clean, and it was a remix, and we work constantly. When you find somebody that you can work with and who is interested, the best thing I learned in this is to just stick with it. Stick with the people who actually really can be consistent and interested in your thing. And that's just what I've been doing. So you constantly see me working with certain people, and you see every new ones here and there, because there's a lot of people now, especially on the project, that I'm grateful for, who have always been in the space, like Ayatash, Izzy, Zaya, Diggy, Natural High. These people are producers on the project, and JLL as well has a few songs on the project. And they just have always been yearning to work with artists And that is just how you see a lot of their names on people's projects now. You see all their names on Diggy's project, on Lila project, on Sev project, because they're and Chronic, so they're in the space and they're just willing to work.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that, you know, when we go back to like the traditional routes where artists would go to studios and almost sort of like, you know, almost like hang out to try and voice things like dub plates, try and get the ears of the producer. That doesn't really exist as much nowadays, because it almost seems as though everyone sort of like has studios in their houses. So, you know, that pathway or avenue for you to kind of like almost go to somewhere like an Arrows or a Penthouse Records, it does exist, but it doesn't exist, I don't feel, as much as it used to back in the days. Was that a challenge for you to connect with the right people for these first projects?
To connect for this project?
No, when you were first starting out with the songs.
Oh, of course. Me can tell you the bugger producer we still don't look on them DM.
Yeah, because
I can't tell you.
How I sort of envisage things is that there was probably a lot of doors that were closed in your face than people actually willing to open the door and actually to take you in and say, let's listen to hear what you've got to sing.
Oh, absolutely. And it's not even a thing I take personal either. You see me? It's definitely not a thing that I take to heart. Like, take it like, oh, it's against me. Because the truth is, I understand when you're at a certain level or whatever. Sometimes you're so busy, you don't have time. Sometimes you're not even an Instagram person. You may not even check your DMs. Or you may just be like, I want this girl to just prove her not worth, but like, just grind a little. Because some people are like that. They want to really see your work and grind before them even take you up and just give you rhythm. Because when them give you rhythm, what you going to do with it? What you going to do for them? You know what I mean? So I understand that is a little balance. And, I was just lucky that upcoming producers such like JLL and thing was also finding his way while I was finding my way.
So it's about connecting and being in the right place, but at the right time for you and for JLL, as an example.
For sure. That is music on a whole. Any artist can tell you, right place, right time.
True.
You never know.
Yeah. Now, I think it was almost like 2 years to the day where we caught a sneak performance of Jaz Elise up in the hills surrounding Kingston, where Lila was doing like a very special acoustic show, and we caught the first few sort of bars of you coming on to do something acoustically, and then since then we've had this massive song. I think it was December 2019, Rock and Groove.
Yes.
Big song.
Thank you.
Now, I know that JLL obviously works really closely with Diggy, but how did Jaz Elise come from working with people like JLL, Upsetter, to then being introduced into the In.Digg.Nation camp?
Honestly, it was just from there was a show that I went to in 2018. It was a dance show, and then I saw a girl that looked familiar, a brown girl with an afro, and she had something wrapped around her head. I didn't like know her, but I think I heard a song she did, Second Chance, and it was like, is that Lila? I think her name was Lila. That is me at the time. I think she named Lila, but I don't know. And I was like, okay, let's go say hi. and I had also just dropped a song just by myself. I think it was For You or something like that. And I like just, and she had dropped Second Chance some months before. And I came to her and I was like, yo, I really rate that song there, it bad and thing. And we had a little conversation about music. And I was like, yeah, me I do it, just me. Like I was just linking up with somebody to make music, JLL, and that was it. I never have no manager, I never have no nothing else. So she was like, yo, forward and come at this show. I'm going to have rehearsal. I think the next day she'd have rehearsal. And it was like a live from Kingston. And I did end up go to rehearsal and we just vibe. And she was like, yo, I'm going to call up on stage. And, so from that is how I ended up meeting Diggy.
Okay.
Officially meeting Diggy. I performed at the live from Kingston, which turned out to have Coffee and she and Sev and Naomi. Who I didn't know any of. I knew Cuff, but I never knew like any of the other girls. So she introduced me to Diggy and thing, and it was from there that our relationship kind of blossomed a little bit. And we just started partying and doing more music and hanging out. And then from that, she was like, yo, there's this rhythm, vibe it and sing. She was like, yo, you can sing some ideas, and we're just vibing it. And I sing some harmonies for her and thing. And then I think Diggy had reached out to JLL to just say, yo, more jazz on this rhythm, which was rock and groove rhythm. So that is from there. I just didn't wrote the song and sent it in, and then the rest is with the studio. We vibe the song, we recorded it together, and the rest is history. It was that was it. It was just up from there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I still remember, and there is still a buzz about that particular rhythm because it had an all-female group of artists, and
Yeah,
the actual foundations, the bass line is actually a really old song, the Gunman,
yeah,
and so it just works
yes.
really, really well together. So yeah, got to give credit to you and the In.Digg.Nation camp on the Rock and Groove project.
Thank you. Yeah, man, it was a vibe. I had no idea what to expect from it. As I say, most of my doing music is just me. I do music. I just want people to hear it. I don't really have expectations like what it's gonna do, what it can do. I just know some more. It's to sound good and feel good, whatever the feeling is.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm just happy that that did something good for the culture and that people really, really connect with it in another way.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that a few months after that project came out, we had that great BBC One Extra session on the veranda. What
Yeah.
a performance. That's all I can say.
Yes.
What a performance.
Yes, that was unreal. Another thing where I had no idea, I'd never done a BBC One Extra before, but I know some of the other girls had, but I'd never done a BBC One Extra. So it was just very, I was like, okay, Shawnee B, BBC One Extra, let's just sing, I guess, and we just vibe.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that what came across was the authenticity. It was very, very vibesy, and those the segments in there
Thank
where you
you.
kind of went into, I think it was Lila that started singing John Holtz, Dennis Brown, Gregory Isaacs, and it's kind of like,
Yeah, man, let me tell you, I love a Dennis Brown, and a Gregory Isaac.
okay, okay. Now, you're the fourth official member of the In.Digg.Nation family, after
Right,
Protoje, Sevana and Lila. Um,
yeah.
how does that make you feel? Because, you know, I feel as though what In.Digg.Nation are doing at the moment, it's something, it's not normal. It's not something that we've seen in Jamaican music.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't even, you see, because it's just so weird how it happened for me. It's not like I approached a label, and you know how you typically expect an artist to approach a label, or the A&R approaches
Yeah,
the artist, and then they go to their managers, and it's like I was a young artist where I think we all had a similar thing. We're just young artists who did a try thing, who never have no like structure around us, but we did just kind of fall to each other
okay.
and vibe with each other, and we just get along. And I think because I look up to Diggy as like a mentor, and he had such interest in my music, it just kind of organically happened. So it doesn't even feel like, it feels like, yes, it's a label with four artists, but it feel like more of a little fellowship with four artists who just care about the music that the other artists are making and the success of everybody.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think what I sort of sense is a real sort of like close family vibe within the Habitat Studios. You know, I'd love to be a fly on the wall in the studio when you guys are vibing together, because I think you guys have a lot
No.
of fun. That's really important.
Of course, it is a mixed bag, you know, 'cause all of us are hard workers. I can tell you for myself, it's just a lot of work that I personally put into just improving and being a better artist and making sure that the product is great. Same for Dig, same for Lila, same for Sev. So we work hard, and then we just love the music. We love music, love.
Yeah, yeah. So who's the one person in the In.Digg.Nation camp that really pushes Jaz Elise to kind of like push further with whatever you're doing? Who's that person?
That's hard. That's so hard because everybody gives something else. So Diggy is more like he mentors everybody. So when it comes to the music and just letting you do what you want to do and guide you along the way and just support you. He's definitely that. Sev is a lot of emotional support, and I support, like we support each other emotionally. Sometimes it's yo, yeah man, listen to that song, yeah, or listen to that rhythm, yeah. Just encouraging, like I've been encouraged along the way for the past 2 years. Like, all right, yeah man, so you see that because dub style there, man, you have to listen to some of them song there and just, like Lila will be the one to say, all right, yo, listen to them rhythm and just vibe while you clean your house. And
Right.
that's how I become comfortable with just freestyling or doing stuff like that. And Sev will be like, yo, you have to just do what you're doing, and don't care. And just because, so there are different elements from everybody that encourages everybody differently. And for me, everybody give them little tidbit. Every single body does.
Yeah. And I guess that, all of you as individuals, you're going to need a different type or level of support on every day, on a different day.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah. Well, look, we've got this brand new EP, The Golden Hour. It's been released early on in March 2021. 7 tracks on the EP. How would you describe the sound that we're hearing on The Golden Hour?
Yes, I don't even know what to say. Like, it's very Jamaican. It's very soulful, real. There's a bit of everything in it, but it's still me. There's a bit of more traditional sounds with like a good over evil, even with a strain as well. And then there's a lot of R&B that you might hear in a After 3 or even in a strain, and elevated and like dancehall pop vibes in a radio. It's just a lot of Jamaican music that is cultured down here where I live in Jamaica. And then a lot of the other musical influences I've had are in there. So it's a mixed bag of a whole heap of things that I don't even know how to describe it, but it's just Jaz Elise.
I'm so glad that you said that, because I was trying to sort of think in my own mindset how would I actually describe this actual project, and you've kind of taken the words out of my mind, because I was kind of struggling to actually almost, I know we shouldn't do this, put labels on music or tags, but it very much reminded me of Tesselated's EP that he came out with last year, Stronger.
Okay.
It was very, very kind of, it's very fusion in the sound, in that, yes, there's elements of R&B, your soulful vocals, there's some Afro beats, and of course traditional reggae as well. So I'm kind of glad that that's how you're kind of seeing it as well. Now, have there been sort of like, any pressures within your own mindset about the expectations that people have on you to put out this EP?
Maybe I've just been shielded, but I never feel like people really had expectations, or maybe I was just not shielding myself from it, because I've been in this the shortest length of time from everybody else. So for me, I know people wanted music. I didn't think about if they wanted a project or not, but my thing is just always wanting to do more music. Like, you see me done this EP, and here is March 5, the EP is out. And I'm already thinking more music, more sounds, more stories, more experiences. Like, I'm just about making the music.
Yeah. Well, look, from the EP itself, I know that we've had 2 singles that have been released. We had Fresh and Clean to begin with, and then we had this amazing remix that came out for Governor.
Yes.
How did that collab come about to actually bring Governor onto the Fresh and Clean?
It was just a little divine intervention between Diggy and JLL, I would say. It came to fruition. But I remember on Instagram, I had posted like a question, like, who should do a remix? This was like a long time. And a lot of people were like, at Governor. And I kind of tagged him in one of them. And then he responded, like, just something very simple. But I was like, that's not bad. So I shared it with Diggy, and he was like, yo, so that's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. It took a while to get it out from when that happened, but it's just things like that I realized it's just a lot of what is taking place. Like sometimes you just have to say it to somebody and then see if they have the same idea as you. And I guess he asked Govey, and he was like, yeah, no problem, I'll do it.
Perfect. And you've got a great video to that as well. I think some of that video was shot in a skate park as well. Tell us about the video
Right.
in the skate park.
Yeah, the video was dope. It was just places that was surrounding. And the skate park was near to Harborview where I grew up, and it was just a nice, open, expansive area. And I wanted it to feel very fresh, little elevated, and show some fashion, show some vibe, and show the people who have contributed to the project as well with some of to the song with some of the cameos and things. So it was just a nice, easy vibes.
Yeah. And I think one of the other singles that we've been graced with just before the EP released was the Good Over Evil. That's a Natural High production, right?
Yeah, Natural High, tough producers.
Yeah, I love that song. That's been on
Thank you.
rotation over here on the radio and things. So,
Thanks.
I feel as though that one's kind of more of a message music kind of thing.
For sure, absolutely.
So we've talked about Good Over Evil, and we've also talked about Fresh and Clean. Now let's focus on some of the newer sounds on the EP. The song that comes into my mind instantly is that song Radio. It's got such a catchy hook to it.
Thank you so much.
It's I think that when I'm sort of listening to that song, I don't know, the music behind it sounds really, really rich. It's a very, very polished sound, and I can see that one playing on the radio for months and months and months.
Thank you. I hope so.
It will, trust me. That's going to be a big song.
Wow, give thanks.
And there's also a really nice collaboration on the EP featuring Mortimer, who I'm going to call part of the extended inner family of In.Digg.Nation.
Of course, absolutely, without question.
Yeah, let's talk to our viewers about After 3 then. So this song with Mortimer.
Yes, After 3 is actually, outside of Fresh and Clean, is the first song that I completed for this project.
Okay.
Yeah, so it started with a bang. Even before I knew what the project would be, I just said, say I hear Ayatash send me a rhythm, I really loved it. It sounded dope, but I just vibe it, and I had a vibe, and I was like, I think Mortimer would be sick on this. And then he was just like, yeah, absolutely. And from there, it was just like, all right, let's make it happen. And the process of working with him has been great as well, because he's such a pure artist. Like, just I learned so much from just doing that song with him, in terms of how he approaches music and just the way he collaborates. And it was such an easy process of just writing that song, and then having him, forward on it, and then writing the bridge together and vibing it in studio. It was just such a beautiful process that as some music must feel like.
Yeah. No, very, very true. And I think the thing I love about Mortimer is, I don't know, there's something about his work ethic and how he sort of puts his music together. It kind of hits the spot.
For sure.
The spot. Yeah. Now, in making this EP, the 7 tracks, tell me what the process was like, in the sense that we know that obviously you just told us that After 3 was the first song officially for the project. Are you somebody that sort of vibes to a rhythm or beat, or will you put pen to paper first and then build a rhythm towards it?
I've never actually written a song first.
Wow.
Never done that. Right, so usually what happens is I'd either get inspired by the rhythm, or I just be playing my guitar and freestyle some things. So a great example of that is After 3, where I got the rhythm, and the rhythm inspired the song for me, inspired the vibe with obviously what I was feeling and going through at the time. And then I can use Breathe as an example. I wrote 90% of that song on a really tough night with my guitar, just singing my troubles away, basically. And I took that to JLL, and I was like, I have a thing here, it's different. I don't know if it makes sense, but what you think about it? And then he came up with Breathe with I attach as well.
Right. Okay. So as you're sort of sharing some of the stories behind the songs, it sounds like every song had a different, almost like story or relationship that developed into a song.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Is there any one particular song, and I know this might be a hard question for you to answer right now,
Yeah.
one particular song that really has like a really close meaning to you right now?
Oh, that's a hard question. Yeah, that's a very hard question, but
This is kind of like me saying to you, can you choose who your favorite
choose a
child?
child.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard because for every day of the week there's a connection. For every feeling and every different thing I go through, there's a different song that connects with it. But Strain and Breathe are two of those that when I listen to it, I can feel the moment I was in, which was just a very, very emotional place.
Yeah.
And it just brings me back instantly to those same feelings that those two songs in particular talk about.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that when viewers are sort of like listening through to the EP, they're probably going to feel some of those emotions because, you know, I know that when I was listening to Breathe, I don't know why, but it really kind of like resonated with Lila's Solitude to me because when I first heard that song, I don't know, it really sort of touched something within me. And I felt that same feeling when I listened to Breathe for the first time as well.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And it was a song that is not necessarily, you don't know what it is. But for me, I was just like, I'm just making music that tells stories and I can just say what's happening without trying to say, yeah, man, I have to do this reggae and do that dance. So I just say, yo, if people connect with this, like how it makes me feel good, this is a song I listen to when I'm stressed out. I'm gonna turn it on. I'm gonna just feel at ease. I say, if I feel that, people can feel that as well.
Yeah, for real. Now, I know that the EP is available on all digital platforms and
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere. So I know that, you know, people are going to be sort of like soaking in the sounds of the EP. I'm guessing that further down the line, we are going to have some physical releases as well.
Me like some videos or some vinyls.
CDs, vinyls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For sure.
One thing that's recently been announced, and I wanted to see what your thoughts or take on this, Spotify in Jamaica.
Finally.
I'm glad that you said that.
Finally. It's about time. It's just crazy to me that there's so much of the world's music that forward out of Jamaica, and it's just now that it's reaching, but it is here, it's reaching. So yeah, that's good.
Yeah. I think that you know, for such a small island, the output over generations, over decades, is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And the fact that we can't access Spotify in Jamaica up to now, I think is almost like a criminal thing. So I'm glad that people are making use of that. You know, from your perspective, do you feel that the music's an opportunity not only for you to share your values and inspire other women, but I don't know, you know, just try and motivate other people as well?
Absolutely. It's I think I remember growing up listening to people like Queen African, Etana, Lauren Hill, Tanya Stevens, and feeling like they're just by the fact that they're doing music and the topics that they sing about and that they just sing about what they want to sing about, it was inspiring to me. Just saying like, oh, yo, woman, I do them thing, them I sing about what them want to sing about, and it's connecting and it's reaching. So that alone is just enough inspiration.
Yeah. And I think, do you know, the thing that I'm really sort of like pleased about is that it's actually getting more and more harder now for people to say that Jamaican music is a male dominated industry, because it's not the case now.
Yeah, and I think it's like when you look at the whole independent part of it is what made a lot of people, women and men, decide, say, oh, I just going to do my thing, and then people will pick up on that. So it's very hard to ignore people now when there's social media and everything, and the whole digital space allows persons who not sign, who don't have a big team behind them to just put out their music and connect with people, which is what I did for the first year that I was doing music, essentially.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel that you've achieved a lot in a relatively short space of time. That big single, The Rock and Groove, the collab with
Thank
Governor,
you.
being signed to In.Digg.Nation, the debut EP.
Thank
Surely
you.
there's been times when you felt the pressure as a young soul, because I still see you as a young artist.
I am a young artist. In my head, me not reach nowhere yet. You know what I mean? I have so much more to do to establish myself and to just grow more and reach more people. And so for me, it's not even like I always grateful for every step of the way. But there's just always so much more to do for me and so much more to learn.
Yeah, yeah. And I guess that, one question that I think, must be going through your mind is, when am I going to be able to tour?
Big question. Big. This is like half of what you look forward to when you do music is just releasing it and then being able to go in studio or from out of the studio to the stage to connect with people.
Yeah. Well, I think that, we're all keeping our fingers crossed that, as 2021 pans out, things are going to get better across the world, and we're going to start to see people like the In.Digg.Nation family coming over into places like the United States and into Europe and things as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. What message would you give then to aspiring females that want to pursue a career in music? Because I feel that, the elders, the people, the Marcia Griffiths, Phyllis Dillons, they've all sort of passed on the baton to this younger generation of people like yourselves. Now, you've got to obviously at some point pass on that baton to another generation. What advice would you give?
I mean, I don't think we're not even reached there yet. But I think in all times of the journey of my career, there's a moment to be inspirational to somebody. And I would say just do it. It doesn't matter how much people you think you know or don't know. Just get up and find your first song. Get up and vibe your first tune. Learn an instrument. Just explore what it is that you like and what you want to do. Because before I did music, like recording, I was on Instagram recording covers, just singing covers of Chronic, Skanking, and Popcorn, different songs from his album. I was just singing random things on Instagram, and that is how I got my footing to even can send a jail and say, "Yo, see me, and me can sing, and get some music done." So just get up and do something.
Yeah, yeah.
Just express yourself.
Yeah, yeah. Well, look, Jaz Elise, I really give thanks for your time today, and I wish you everything
Thank you.
that's now going forwards with the new EP. Big up to all the In.Digg.Nation family that's put this together as well. And we're definitely going to look forward to seeing you over here in the United Kingdom for real.
Yes, I need to forward for sure. Have to, as soon as this thing
clears up.
Whew.
Cool. Well, look, really appreciate your time today. From all the family here, one love.
All right, blessings. Thank you so much.
Cool.
Reggae Interviews. Word Sound Power.